Hey guys, welcome to That's Chaotic, my new channel. And today I just want to do a bit of an introductory deck profile for you guys. So I picked one of my better decks, but I also picked one that was very easy to replicate with some easier to get cards. So without further ado, I'm going to show you my Mipedian strike deck. So essentially, the point of the deck is to hit hard and hit fast. So most of the cards will hit with a lot of invisibility, and so that's what I based the deck around. So we're going to start off with the front row. You have Iflar, the Crown Prince. So he is a very nasty, ultra rare creature. He only has 50 stat points, 50 energy, but he has 1 music counter. He is unique and loyal. He has untargetable, which means he is not targetable by any card effects, except for attacks, obviously. That includes your cards. So you cannot save him with any sort of healing music, because he's not targetable. But he also comes equipped with Invisibility Surprise, which means that he can automatically win initiative during combat, so he will always go first. And he comes with Invisibility Strike 20 built in. So he is a very powerful beater. His stats are not great. Mine has 20 courage, 10 power, 50 wisdom, 65 speed, which is not very good. But I mainly use him for his air attacks, which he has. So he's in the front row. Beside him in the center is Headmaster Ankija. I don't know if that's how you properly pronounce his name, but there it is. He has 65 energy, no music counters. He is also unique and loyal. He has air and earth. Earth doesn't really matter. It's mostly the air that I'm worried about. He comes with Invisibility Strike 15, and he also has invisibility abilities can't be negated. If you lose initiative, your engaged creature gains Strike 10, which means if you somehow lost initiative, which in this deck is not actually possible, unless both creatures have Invisibility Surprise. But that also depends on the judge, because I did have to ask the chaotic blargers and all them, the guys that used to run it. And apparently the way that the headmaster is supposed to work is invisibility abilities can't be negated, meaning that if both creatures are engaged with invisibility, normally what would happen is they would both be canceled out. But apparently the headmaster gets around that and says both still keep it, and if both had surprise, then it would just go with the initiative. So you could, in theory, get Strike 10 if they both had surprise, and then you had to go to initiative checks. Anyway, that's just a bit of random extra knowledge. Basically, the point is to just get a bunch of strike going on, so that's all they do. The last creature I have up front is Como. Here, we'll move them over a little bit. Is Como Purified, which mine is an Alliances Unraveled pre-release promo. 50 energy, no music counters, air, which again is all I really need. He has range and swift 1, and he has an effect that says Como has Invisibility Strike 10 for each elemental type the opposing engaged creature has. So that's really decent. So he can get all the way up to Strike 40 if he's fighting against an Elementalist deck, which is ridiculous. But the key here for me is range and swift 1, because if I don't go first, they basically have to attack Como, or they risk him jumping right to the back row because of the battle gear I've given them. So, for battle gears, Iflar and Headmaster Ankija both have the Mipedian Fulgurite, which states the equipped creature gains air 10, and at the end of combat, destroy this battle gear. So they both gain air 10, which again will hit them really hard on their first hit. And rounding it out, Como has the Skeletal Steed, which gives him an extra swift and range again. So he can jump right to the back row. So that's the 3 top guys. Onto the middle row, it is Oaki and Oaki. And this is really weird, actually. Don't know if the camera can pick it up, but we'll try. Both of them have the exact same stats.
which when all of them range by 20 and energy ranges by 10, that's pretty rare, but both of them have the exact same stats, which are 35 courage, 45 power, 40 wisdom, and 80 speed, and they both come equipped with 65 energy and 1 music counter each. Both of them have air, which is all I really need, and they come with the effect of Mipedians you control with invisibility, gain 20 speed, and invisibility strike 5, meaning that all of my creatures with invisibility will actually gain 40 speed and strike 10 if they're both alive. They also have air 5, and it's loyal, but it's not unique. That's why I can run 2. And both of them have the same battle gear, which is Destructozuka, which is when Destructozuka is revealed, choose an elemental type. The equipped creature gains the chosen type and element 5 of the type you chose. Basically, he's going to get Earth and Earth 5. Not too much with him. That's basically all he's there for, but the last creature in the deck is what brings it all together. It's Prince Moody, Champion of the Guard, with 60 energy, no music counters, air, no earth. And he has the ability that says, first of all, he's unique, so you can only have one. And he says, Mipedians you control gain invisibility surprise, and it isn't other Mipedians you control, it's just Mipedians you control. So he gives himself invisibility surprise, which is how the deck works together, because he gives himself invisibility surprise. He also gives both Owakies invisibility surprise, which means that Owaki gives himself 20 speed and strike 5. So both Owakies will actually be hitting. They have surprise and they have 40 extra speed, and they're going to also have strike 10. And Moody will also gain 40 speed and strike 10. So that's how he ties it in. The last battle gear for him is just the Evergreen Tunic, which he has the 80 courage. Sorry, he has 80 courage, 50 power, 20 wisdom, 80 speed. So the courage checks here are he needs courage 50 to gain 5 energy and courage 75 to gain 15. So he gains 20 energy in total, bringing him up to 80, which makes him a formidable opponent for almost anybody. So there's no real weak players on the team. That was another thing I wanted. Because I don't have defender, I didn't want anyone jumping the back row and wiping out my music users, which I don't actually have any. So we're going to jump to the musics now. I do have 6, but you only have 3 music counters to start, so unless there's a way that you gain some, you can't actually play all of these. So you try to conserve the music counters for as long as possible, unless one of your creatures is going to die and you have to use it absolutely necessary. So they're all one-ofs. There's nothing special about really any of them. They're all just standard Mipedian music here. So Melody of Mirage for 1 Mipedian music counter. Target attack deals 0. So just in case they try and hit you for a lot, you just counter that right away. Silent Requiem for 1. Negate target music or ability that targets a creature with invisibility, which is all of your creatures. So, yeah. Fanfare of the Vanishing for 1. Target creature gains invisibility, strike 15 until the end of turn. Just a simple extra boost in case you want to one-shot one of their guys. Song of Shelter. Target creature you control may not be the target of music or abilities until the end of turn. So just extra protection against basically anything. Trills of Diminution. Yeah. Target engaged creature loses all abilities until the end of turn. So that just kind of... this is mainly for just the stupid creatures that do random jank that you don't want them to do. You just kind of negate that crap. And then the last one is just in case I play against some silly deck that decides they're going to get rid of my air and my earth. So this just says target creature gains air. If that creature already has air, it gains air 5 instead. So that just helps bring back air, because without air, you essentially lose with this attack deck. So, yeah. That's that. We're going to jump into the attacks. Remember, all my creatures have plus 40 speed, which is why a lot of these attacks are going to do really well. And I haven't organized this attack deck, so this might be interesting. Alright, let's see here. Here we go. So we got a Academy Strike, which does nothing. It's 1 build cost, and then says stat check speed 100, deal 15 damage. Let me see, I have 2 of that. Alright. So there's 2 of that. The next one is going to be Air Salt, which is just a straight Air 15 for 1 build cost. I run 2 of that as well. Quite simply, it's just 15 air for 1 build cost. The next one is Sand Strike, which is also 1 build cost. A lot of these attacks are going to be 1s because you hit so hard that it just doesn't really matter how much the attacks do, as long as you're doing consistent damage. Every attack, you'll probably wipe them out before they can get you. So this one is 5 base, 5 air, 5 earth, and if you control a non-Mipedian, it deals 0, but you don't, so you're good. The next one is Funnel Blast, which is 1 build cost as well. 5 air, 5 earth, and a stat check speed 50, deal 5 damage. So that's just another generic earth one. Earth air. This one is Atmosphere, which does 5 base, 5 air, and if your engaged creature has invisibility, deal 5 damage, which all of them do. So again, it's real good. Then, let's see here. We got 2 Marksman's Preparation, which does 0 base, 0 air, but it says the opposing engaged creature cannot gain Mudget counters, just in case you're playing Fluid Morphers, and it also has the clause of you may discard another card named Marksman's Preparation. If you do, deal an additional 30 damage and draw an attack card. So it helps cycle through your deck. It's just not a bad card to grab, and I like it a lot. You know what? It does what it's supposed to do. Then we have just 1 Invader's Tactics. It's 1 build cost, and it's 10 base with 0 water, and it says if your opponent controls the active location, deal an additional 5 damage, so it's potentially 15 damage off of a 1-drop, so that's not bad. 1 Poison Sphere, 5 base, and challenge speed 15, deal 10 damage, and stat check speed 50. The opposing engaged creature loses 15 speed. So that part doesn't really matter, but the dealing 10, so you can possibly deal 15, is real good. And then I have 3 zeros and 3 2s. So the zeros are 2 Velocitrap, which is just challenge speed 15, deal 10, which again, I have plus 40 speed on all my guys who have really high speed, so they should be able to win. And then the last one is 1 Hurricane, which does 10 air, and then it says if you have air, your engaged creature loses air until the end of turn. So that's not very good, but it's just an extra 0 to help push some of these through, which is 1 Acceleration, which is challenge speed 5, deal 10, 30, deal 10, and 50, deal 10, so it can do 30 damage. And your guys are very speedy, so you should be able to pass most of those. And then the last attack is 2 Progressive Speed, which is 5 air, stat check speed 30, deal 5, speed 50, deal 5, and 70, deal 5, and you're always hitting all of those unless they've drained you of speed. So that's really good. So that's the attack deck. We'll round out the locations and then we'll close up this video. So a lot of these are sort of in here. Some of them are kind of a troll, but I don't know. We'll just see how this goes. So we got 2 Bodil's Arsenal. So because you use the Mipedian Fulgurite and it gets destroyed at the end of combat, you want to see this after one of them has fought. And this says when this becomes the active location, each player may return a battle gear card from their discard pile to play to an unequipped creature and equip it to an unequipped creature that player controls. Initiative again is wisdom, but you don't care because you have surprise, which means you automatically go first. And this will allow you to return the Air 10 battle gear back to the headmaster or Iflar. The next location is Broken Edge. Initiative is air. Engaged creatures gain outperform speed 5, and damage dealt by wisdom attacks is reduced by 5, which just helps you because wisdom is not your strong suit. The next one is 2 Mipedian Valley, which is initiative water, and creatures without air do not flip up their battle gear at the start of combat, which kind of screws your opponent over, but not you because all your creatures have air, so that's good for you. Then you've got Dranicus Threshold, which is initiative courage, and it says music and abilities cannot be played. Invisibility is not played, it just happens, so you really don't care. And you don't have enough music to cast that many, so you also don't care about that. So that's why Dranicus Threshold is really good. Initiative you don't mind because you have surprise again. The last 2 are just... It should probably just be 2 of this, but I, for some reason, only have 1 in here. I probably have lost the other ones. But this is the Crystal Cave. Initiative is speed, and the engaged creature with the lowest speed deals 0 damage on its first attack, which is probably not you, because unless you're playing another speed-based deck, all of your creatures have plus 40, and all of them, I think, had a minimum of 60. I think Iflar was the lowest with 60, so he'd have like 100. So, yeah. And the last one is the Mipedian Mirage, which is initiative Danian for some reason. All creatures gain Swift 1, and it's mainly used for its Mirage effect, which is if a creature can move into this space, it must do so. So you put it somewhere where your opponent can't fight you on their turn, so you get the home location advantage when you go to attack them. Yeah, so that's going to wrap this up. That was my Mipedian Strike deck. I will be back with more. Again, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. I will get back to you for sure. I do hope to do a lot more decks. If you would like to see a certain deck or you want me to try and build a deck for you or give you help with any decks, I am more than happy to do that. I have not every card in the game, but I do have quite a lot, so I have extras to help build some decks. Give me a shout, and thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. This has been That's Chaotic, and we'll see you later.